Hey, and welcome back to the channel. So, for the last 3 weeks, I have been the proud owner of the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro. Let's talk about them. But first,
I'm Ruben, and this is Tech Enthusiast.
okay, so welcome back to the channel. So, I mentioned at the top of the video, for the last 3 weeks, I have been using Samsung's Galaxy Buds Pro. But for the last almost year, I've been using Samsung's Galaxy Buds Plus. And these have kind of been the standard so far. And I'll kind of explain why in just a few minutes. But this video is about the Buds Pro. And so, what's cool about these Buds Pro is they are easily the best all wireless Bluetooth earbuds that Samsung makes. You know, they offer pretty good noise cancellation. They have a nice seal around them. I wasn't the biggest fan of the Buds Live because, you know, although they were very unique, they just didn't offer the seal that the Buds Plus were able to provide. And so in this case, this is the perfect update to the Buds Plus. The Buds Live give you, the Buds Pro give you the seal of the Buds Plus, but they give you the noise canceling even better than the Buds Live. And so looking at the Buds, or rather the case itself, it's a very small case, you know. You're going to get, I believe, 18 hours full usage between the Buds. Now, it's important to understand that while the case may be able to charge the Buds up to 2 times, the max battery life that you're going to get on these is probably about 5 to 6 hours. Beyond that, you know, you could put one in at a time, that sort of thing. But essentially, it's only going to be for the 6 hours. What's interesting about these is they are noticeably larger. And weight wise, we're only talking a few grams, right? But they are noticeably larger than, say, their smaller counterparts, the Buds Plus, and of course, the Buds Live. So looking at the case, it's a wirelessly charging case, which is outstanding. You can kind of throw it on anything. You can throw it on the back of a phone that offers reverse wireless charging, any kind of wireless Qi charging mat you can charge these on. And of course, it has a USB-C connector on the back. So you've got a couple of different options as far as charging these. Good case. It's held closed by magnets, so it's going to give you a nice sturdy closure, whether you've got it in, you know, a purse or pants pocket, any kind of bag. You'll be sure you won't lose these. Once you open up the case, of course, you've got your Buds Pro sitting in there. And I mentioned a few moments ago that these have a pretty significant size to them, but the size is for good reason. The size is because they have a really, really good sound, easily the best sound provided by a Samsung earbuds so far. And so you're talking about having a lot of extra hardware built in, not only to provide the extra sound and the great bass and the, you know, the highs, the mids, the lows, and all that separation, but we're also talking about the hardware for the noise canceling as well. So again, considering all of the extra components and the extra features built into these, considering that they're not much larger than, say, the Buds Plus themselves, it's pretty impressive. You've got, you know, the charging contacts are still here. It does allow you to replace the actual tips on these. So inside the box, you've got small, you've got medium, you've got large. They come in a few different colors. They come in the black, they come in the white, and I believe they also come in a silver color as well. So you've got a couple of options there. Again, the buds are held in magnetically. Not only does the case open and close magnetically, but you've got these held in place. You've got an indicator of the charge here. and then you've also got an indicator on the outside of the charge as well. So this has been my experience over the last couple of weeks of using these. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to find the best fit. I've kind of fluctuated between the largest ear tips and the medium sized one that come on there. And I haven't been able to find the best fit for these particular buds, which is unfortunate because in theory, they're outstanding. And, it doesn't take very long for me personally to feel a lot of ear fatigue from having these in for more than, say, 45 minutes to an hour. So that's one thing that I feel like is worth noting. They do have a much bigger size than, say, the Buds Plus, which again is my standard of kind of the perfect bud for me. But with that being said, you also want to consider they have a lot more hardware and a lot more work to do. I mentioned the noise cancellation. The noise cancellation is better than the Buds Live because of the seal. Once you've got them in your ear, they seal really, really well. And so, of course, you've got that seal that naturally blocks everything out. And once you add the noise canceling feature on it, it does that much better. So it's a really, really cool feature. Now, what's really cool is, you've got your buds in, and there's a feature that will actually drop the volume automatically when the buds hear you talking to someone, and it will disable the noise canceling feature, so you're then able to have a conversation with someone, of course, outside of the buds. And then the moment you stop talking, the volume then raises back up, and then the noise canceling clicks back on. So it's actually a really, really cool feature, and it works really, really well. I don't think that these are going to be comparable to anything that Sony offers. I mean, their noise canceling level is kind of out of this world. It's absolutely top notch. So noise canceling on these aren't quite there, but they are decent. They are noteworthy. Where I think these really shine is the sound. The sound on these is noticeably better than, say, previous buds that Samsung has made up until now. They are really good for making phone calls. The noise canceling works very well when you're making calls. Um, and so over the last couple of weeks, I've made a lot of phone calls with these buds. The issue for me has to do with the fact that you can't actually mute the buds while being in a call except from the phone itself. So normally on, say, like the Buds Plus, you press and hold for a moment while you're in a call, and it completely, disables the microphone. So you essentially just muted, the call. You can't do that, unfortunately, with these Buds Pro. When you press and hold when you're in a call, what it essentially does is it just enables or disables the noise canceling feature, which I thought was kind of odd because I use these a lot for phone calls, and what comes naturally to me is wanting to mute a call, not wanting to turn that feature on and off when I'm already on a call. And that was a big complaint I had with the Buds Live, and I was hoping that they kind of would have fixed that feature by now. So that's my first issue is, and that's a big one for me. It may not be a big one for you, but it's a big one for me. When I'm using these throughout the day, I want to be able to mute calls when I'm using these. I love the noise canceling. It's decent. I love the sound that these give off. I think that's great, but I really, really, really want to be able to mute calls and not have to, pull the phone out of my pocket, or oftentimes if I'm on a call at home, my device is, charging or sitting somewhere in a separate room. And so it's not always convenient to have to kind of, track it down to have to mute. So that's my first issue. The other issue simply has to do with the battery life. Again, the Buds Plus are kind of the standard for me because I feel like they are great in that they automatically seal out to a good degree. They don't have noise canceling, but they do automatically seal a lot of the noise out because they offer a great seal in the ear. Not only that, but they offer an 11-hour battery life on one charge. I mean, 11 hours. So that means, your commute to work, a full work day. I realize at the time of this recording, a lot of things are still closed. We're still fighting COVID. We're still in a pandemic. But I'm talking about ideally, you want something that can kind of get you through your entire day. The commute in, using them all day at work, and then, your commute home. So 11 hours of battery life versus, say, the Buds Pro give you about 5 to 6 hours. Now, they both charge very, very quickly. The moment you drop these into the cases, I think after 5 or 10 minutes, you're going to get about an hour to an hour and a half of use time. So they do charge very, very quickly. And I've owned other Buds where, there is one that is a master and then the other is a slave. So they aren't able to be used independently except by using the master by itself. With these Buds, you're able to use them completely independent of each other. So if you want to use the right by itself, you can, or the left by itself. It works the same way, whether it's the Buds Live, the Buds Pro, or the Buds Plus, which I think is great. All in all, I think they are they're great. They're only $200. They're probably on sale by now at a lot of places, and you're getting good noise canceling. You are getting incredible sound. If you are used to, say, the Buds Live or the Buds Plus, if you get the Buds Pro, you're going to notice they do have a little bit more weight to them. And so when that doesn't mean much in your hand, when you put these things in your ear, that can kind of make a big difference. The other thing that I think is worth mentioning is, of course, the battery life. The battery life is cut in half. Now, comparing the Buds Pro to the Buds Live, you're not going to notice a battery life difference. They're about the same, 5 to 6 hours, somewhere in there. But I'm so used to using the Buds Plus, and I've been using them for almost a year. And what I love about them is that 11 hours of battery life. But those are two things that are noteworthy for me. Your experience might vary, but after 3 weeks of using it, I wanted to share those thoughts. Thanks for watching.
Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please press the like button. Please consider subscribing to this channel. And from one tech enthusiast to another, God bless.